What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Got some more wide receiver evaluations to get to, and now we are into the third round. These are guys that are currently projected to go somewhere around the third round. Obviously, there's some variance baked in there, but that seems to be where these guys tend to land. So let's get into it, starting with Antonio Williams of Clemson. This was actually a guy who was projected to maybe be a first rounder earlier in the year, but then he didn't have a great season. Still an interesting talent, but didn't break out the way people were expecting. Definitely on the smaller side, 187 pounds, kind of short arms. Good 40, 4.41. 155 10-yard split isn't great, but very explosive. Almost a 40-inch vert. Three cone was not great. Bench press, not very good, which, I mean, he is a smaller guy, but with his arms, you would expect a little bit better from him. So, yeah, Antonio Williams. Every big board that I use has him in the top 100, so that's interesting. A couple have him in the second, but the aggregate has him in the early third as of when I took this data. And you can see that 2025 was a little bit of a tough year for him. 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. Previous year, he had 900 yards, 11 touchdowns. A little bit of a higher PFF grade, though, so I think we should be a little open-minded here and not completely abandon him just because he had a not so stellar season. So the thing with Antonio Williams is that unlike a lot of the receivers that we've been looking at in this draft, and unlike a lot of receivers in this draft in general, he's got speed and explosiveness. This guy can be a big play threat. This guy has the speed to burn down field. This guy has the explosiveness to be a bear in open field. He's got good ball skills down the field. He's good at tracking the ball into his hands. He's hard to bring down when he has the ball in his hands. He's a yak threat. There's a lot of talent to like here. He adds some special teams value. I think he'll be a good returner. He's also got an advanced understanding of routes. He knows how to mix up his pacing, knows how to throttle. That's a very important skill, and he already seems to have it. Antonio Williams, by the way, was originally a running back, and while I think he's too small to be a running back in the NFL, I do believe that those skills assist him in the open field. Now, because he is small, he may end up only being able to be in the slot when he gets to the NFL. He did get hurt more than once in college, so injuries are already a concern, and he is a smaller guy. And I mean, you guys have probably already noticed this, but for a guy who's supposedly a big play threat, he didn't make that many big plays. His yards per catch last year was 11. The year before it was 12. That's not that good. And I think that speaks to him not realizing his full potential. And if he couldn't do it at Clemson, then is he going to do it in the NFL? I don't know. Press coverage tends to eat him up, and yeah, 2025 was disappointing. And some of that was because of injury, but that needs to be weighed into the equation as well. So there's something here. I'm intrigued by Antonio Williams. It's just the body is not what it needs to be. He's too small, and he's already starting to get hurt, and it feels like even though he's only 22, it's almost like he's starting to break down already. So late second, I think is okay. Late second, they have him very, very early third. I go late second. There's a little bit of potential here, but it doesn't feel like he's going to get there, I admit. So that's Antonio Williams. That's our first third rounder receiver. Next guy is a guy we're somewhat familiar with, Germie Bernard, former Washington Husky. Went to Alabama with DeBoer, and he's had 2 pretty good years for the Crimson Tide. 22. He's got good size, 6'1", 206 pounds, a little bigger than typical. Arms are still very short, though, and that is something that keeps happening in this class, I swear. Big hands, so that's nice. He tested mixed. Like, the 3-cone was incredible. He had an amazing 3-cone, and that does speak to his ability to run routes and his ability to do some of the same things that maybe a Cooper Kupp was able to do once upon a time, or a JSN right now. But the vert was really low. The broad was good. The 40 was workable. I like the 10-yard split. The 20-yard shuttle, though, I don't know. I'm getting mixed messages from this combine. It's all over the place. Quite a few big boards actually have him in the second, but the aggregate has him in the early third. So he's probably going to go somewhere around there, the late second, early third. You can see the production the last couple of years. Was a featured target last year for Alabama. Almost 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. 13 and a half yards per carry, had 16 yards per catch. 16 yards per catch the previous year, so good production. Not elite, but there's a lot of good players on that Alabama offense, right? He's versatile. He's able to line up in the X. He can line up in the Z. He can line up in the slot. He can be utilized everywhere. Alabama even utilized him on like jet sweeps and backfield stuff sometimes. He's got really good hands, doesn't drop the ball very much. He's smart with how he runs routes, and he's also good at finding the hole in zone. He runs good routes. He's an overall good route runner. You see that in his 3-cone. And he does have the vision that will remind you a little bit of a running back. So he sees the play, sees the field, and knows how to use that knowledge. The issues, the arm length, I don't know if he'll be able to play on the outside with 30, not even 30.5-inch arms. That's tough. He's not a downfield threat. He's not going to make a ton of big plays on vertical routes. He's not fast enough, and I don't really think he's going to be very effective there. He's not an open field moves guy. He's more of a, if anything, he kind of runs with power and vision. He doesn't really have elusiveness. So there is some possession receiver stuff there. And even though he's not a completely unphysical player, I do think physicality can take him out of the game a little bit. If you're physical with him, he has a tough time dealing with it. So I like some of it. There are physical limitations that bug me, but I look at Bernard and I see a guy who maybe could be Cooper Kupp. In fact, if the Seahawks get him, that's kind of how I'm going to look at it. It's the heir apparent to Cooper Kupp, 1 year under Kupp, and then Kupp probably retires, and then Bernard is the new Cooper Kupp. So I'd go late second round on this one. I'm going to overlook some of my concerns and say there's enough here to make me think he's going to be a good NFL player. I don't know if he'll ever be as good as Cooper Kupp was, because Kupp had maybe the greatest single season of any wide receiver ever, but Bernard kind of makes me think of him. Final guy for this video, very, very interesting guy. Small school, Ted Hurst, Georgia State, so definitely a smaller college, but he is kind of the small college du jour guy right now, 22. Big, 6'4". He's got Randy Moss height, 206 pounds, so he's a little bit lean, but he's got nice long arms, big hands, and he's quick. He ran a 4.4 240. 1.55 10-yard split is just kind of okay, I guess, but he's got speed. Broad jump was out of this world. He jumped out of the stadium at Lucas Oil. And you can see that the big boards, a couple of them have him in the third. CBS and PFF are a little colder on him. He's in the fifth there, but the aggregate has him in the late third. And I'll tell you, I'm pretty plugged into this one. Had about 1,000 yards last season on 71 catches, 6 touchdowns. A year before that, at almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 17.2 yards per catch that year, by the way. He is phenomenal in 50-50 catch situations. He is a 50-50 ball master. He's very hard to handle at the catch point. He's great at adjusting at the last second. He's great at boxing out. He's great at using his size in general. If the ball gets to him, even if it's contested, he's going to do everything in his power to bring it in. He's hard to bring down due to his size. A guy that big is hard to bring down for defensive backs. He's got pretty good speed as well. He can tear up the field. I can see this guy being a downfield threat in the NFL. He's also very good against press, and that's going to be important for a guy like this. He's got a variety of releases in his package, and he's a good route runner overall. He's not a great route runner. There are problems, but overall he is good. So there's a lot to like with Ted Hurst. Now, there are concerns as well. He did play weaker competition in college. And one thing I want to say, even though he's fast in a straight line, even though in theory this should be a guy that burns you down the field, he didn't do it a ton in college. And you would have expected him to with the competition he faced. Like, you look at somebody like Randy Moss, who went to Marshall, and I know that Randy Moss has way more talent than Ted Hurst, but a guy like Randy Moss is just absolutely destroying defenses every week when he's playing for Marshall. Ted Hurst, you're not seeing that same thing. The speed doesn't always show up downfield. He's also going to have to get better at run blocking. When you're this big, you need to be better at run blocking. He needs to improve his contact balance as well. He does crumple when he gets hit a little bit more than he should. I know he's hard to bring down, but there's more he can do to make it harder to bring him down. So I really like the potential here. I think there's something special. I am acknowledging that the concerns are legitimate. This guy should have been more productive at Georgia State. I agree. But I see talent here that I don't see with some of the other highly touted receivers in this draft. I don't see a guy like Elijah Sarratt ever being anything more than a decent number 2 or number 3 receiver. Ted Hurst, yeah, maybe he's not much of anything, but I could see him being a number 1 receiver because his size and his speed is a mismatch. So I go late second round on him, and I wouldn't even hate the mid-second round. I'm enticed. All right, that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your day. More videos coming soon.